And when it comes to how those raise money, I take no lecture on asking patriotic Americans to weigh in and contribute to this fight from those who would grovel and bend knee for the lobbyists and special interests who own our leadership, who have, boo all you want, who have hollowed out this town and have borrowed against the future of our future generations. I'll be happy to fund my political operation through the work of hardworking Americans, $10 and $20 and $30 at a time, and you all keep showing up at the lobbyist fundraisers and see how that goes for you. I reserve.
We have a bunch of weak, feckless leaders.
Wide around the
right
event.
now.
What the fuck is going
Will
on?
you let me
right
Do
now?
we take them out to a farm and shoot them?
No spin, no filters, just the real conversation.
I hope it's not short-lived, man. I just want to ask everybody, why the fuck can't we have nice things? Like, why can't we have civility? Why do we have to bring up the dirty laundry every single fucking time a conservative comes up for nomination? You know, like, you're going to get to the point where this is the standard, and then every time you have a Democratic nominee, they're going to just throw the most disgusting, uncivil shit at them, right? We need to stop this shit right now and just have on the merits, okay? Stop digging up every fucking Looney Tunes fucking person that wants to press charges against somebody for money, right? It's out of fucking control. It really, truly is. If there's some merits behind it, let it go to the fucking legal system and let it play out there. Stop trying to fucking tear people down without any kind of legal case being fucking sentenced against them. Litigation, nothing, right? Just let it fucking play out in the legal system before you throw up a fucking torch mob and try to fucking bring people down. Like, we're all sick of it. You're pushing too fucking hard, okay? And it's going to bite all of us in the ass, and we're going to get dictators in there, and nobody's going to give a fuck anymore.
I think, for whatever reason, people have forgotten that an allegation is nothing more than hearsay until proven otherwise in a court system. I can allege whatever the fuck I want. I can allege that we have 3 moons. I can allege that we're careening into the center of the sun. I can allege that, in fact, the Mormons are right.
The Earth is flat.
The Mormons are right, and Joseph, whatever his name was, Joseph Smith, is 100% correct, and that Jesus walked in North America with the Native Americans. It doesn't make it true. It doesn't make it true at all, until it's proven in court.
Right.
So I think where you're going with this is with, well, at least to start with, is Matt Gaetz.
It's all of it, dude. But let's fucking bring it into Matt Gaetz. Like, when his name was announced, I was like, why? Why? It's the same thing as if you said fucking Alex Jones was press secretary. I'd be like, why? Right? Sure, they could fill that role, but do we need division at this moment in time? We're trying to strive for unity. We're trying to fucking build a really nice America. This is not a let's just fucking move forward and do all the zany bullshit that we need to do, right? Matt Gaetz is a very polarizing character. I've a little bit started to come around in my thinking. Maybe it's okay. Maybe he's going to get thrown up there and he's going to do a fantastic job. He's got that same drive that Trump has for destroying the left. You know, the left is and political left people, the political left, but also the political right that has been playing this dirty establishment game, right? I watched an interview with him walking around Capitol Hill, airing senators and congressmen's dirty laundry. It was fucking amazing. I was like, you know what? Maybe I was wrong. I do this thing where I hear, some bad stuff about people, and I immediately think they're dirty. Get rid of them. I did it with Trump. I did it with RFK. Maybe I just can't trust myself.
I mean, it's not, the problem is that it's in everywhere. Everything that we listen to is just telling us that Matt Gaetz is 100%. if, and I just use the R word. Fuck, I'm gonna have to go through and edit those out. But that's what we're being told, and so, and these are just allegations, and these were made back in April of 2021, where the Justice Department was investigating Matt Gaetz for allegedly engaging in sex trafficking with a 17-year-old girl. These investigations have concluded and have found nothing that they could charge him against. If the dude was interacting with a 17-year-old girl illegally, he would be in jail. That's illegal. Nobody's above that law.
You don't think that the Joe Biden administration, if they found actual dirt on this dude, wouldn't have tossed his ass in jail with every other Trump fucking fanatic? Manafort, Papadopoulos, all of those they got them all. Anybody that they could fucking throw in jail, they did. Okay? You don't think that they wouldn't have done the same thing to Matt Gaetz if they didn't find something that they could have thrown him in jail for?
100% they would. And that's what we're saying. He would be in jail if he had done something illegal. Everybody was looking at him. Everybody. On the left and the right. Because, I mean, he did not make friends in the Republican caucus, ladies and gentlemen.
He's not making friends anywhere. There's probably like 2 people that like him, and it's probably Marjorie Taylor Greene and fucking Trump.
And you got to ask yourself why. Why did Trump pick this guy? It's because he is not here to make friends. He does not give a fuck about who you are or what big interests you represent in the Congress. He does not care. He's got an agenda, and it is for his constituents. And he's looking out for them.
That point right there, Jesse, is what came to me in my head, and I was like, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. Anybody who is universally disgusted by the entirety of the U.S. government is probably in the right. I always have to remember that the U.S. government has zero vested interest in doing their jobs properly for the American people. And we need the people like Trump and Matt Gaetz and RFK and Pete Hegseth and Dan Bongino and Tulsi Gabbard to go in there and light a fucking torch to this motherfucker.
They are beholden to no one. No one. All these people. RFK left his party, for God's sakes. A party of which he was a member for how many years? 40, 50?
All of his life.
60 years? All of his life. Registered?
He said that he came out of the womb Democratic.
Yeah. And he left it. And he forsook them all. His family disowned him. Everybody disowned him because he would not capitulate. He's like, I see a problem, and I'm going to fight to make it better. And even his family was like, we're making money on that problem, bro. Sit down. Get away. And he's like, no, I'm sorry. I'm America first.
Yeah. I watched how like he kind of came because he didn't want to do anything with people. He didn't want to advocate for people and look into health, of people. He was an environmental guy, and he was wildly successful at taking it to big corporations for environmental things. I mean, cleaning up the Hudson was like his crowning achievement. Like right now he's in litigation. The only reason that Roundup is paying people all of this money for the cancer, that's RFK's work. He's doing good work. Like that's his people push that forward. Right. RFK and his people, his organization push that forward. Right. He got put into the spotlight because like in with people, like he got pushed into the people area because women kept coming to his speeches and stuff like that and talking to him about it. And then one woman came up to him and dropped all the scientific articles on his doorstep and it was like, I'm not leaving until you look through all of this crap. And he looked through it and he found something there.
We're
talking about the V word. That's why I haven't said it.
Yeah.
Okay. And he looked into it. He started asking questions. He realized it smelled, and the rest is history. Right.
So what you're talking about, just to shed additional light without using the word, is that a bunch of women who had just had kids came to RFK and was like, look at what's happening to our children. This is unnatural. And we're noticing these things occurring in their in their growth, right? Their development
at 2 years of age,
at very young ages, and it's very pronounced. It is immediate. It's literally they can tell you the hour of the day that this thing started changing, and then they looked at what happened preceding that hour of the day, and it was this V word, and RFK started looking into it, and he hasn't stopped.
No, it started snowballing. It started snowballing after that. He started interviewing people, high-level individuals in that industry, and they filled him full of bullshit. Old fucking Fauci filled him full of bullshit, you know. So
and he's just one of these guys.
It's a good interview with Joe Rogan.
You really need
if people have not watched it yet, watch. You can't get the unfiltered facts about the area of topic that we're talking about right now anywhere other than on a program like Rogan, because everybody else has to self-censor. Jesse and I, we have to self-censor.
We have to self-censor.
Censor, right?
Yep.
Because we'll get our channels blocked. All right, we've already gotten two violations for the same area of topic. So we can talk about anything else we want to, but that is a huge no-no. So we just.
But Joe can talk about it with RFK.
Joe can do it. He doesn't have to self-censor.
He's above the censorship of YouTube.
Nobody can shut Joe. Nobody can shut Joe Rogan up. Okay.
It's amazing, and it's just because of who he's.
The
supporters of people like us that are listening in. But for those of you who actually want to watch it, it's it's podcast number 1999.
1999.
1999. Yep.
I watched it with my parents. My parents had massive misgivings about RFK. We debated it all day Saturday, and I was like, let's just watch his concession speech, because I thought that was a really humanizing speech and moment for RFK. And that's what actually kind of like opened my eyes to RFK in the first place. And then I was like, let's jump into the Joe Rogan one, because I've been meaning to watch it for like a month or two now.
Right.
And finally got into it. And I was like, this thing is amazing. It's a beautiful, beautiful moment of human history right there. They talked about stuff I'd never even heard, because you can't hear it. It's censored.
That's right. You're not allowed to listen to it.
People get their entire channels demonetized and taken down because of what he talks about on there.
Beyond demonetized, man. Demonetized is just the tip of the iceberg. They will straight up kick you off of YouTube.
Oh yeah,
they will block your channel.
Theo Vaughn got a warning. He was like, "I can't have you back on the." They like each other.
Yeah,
he's like, "I can't have you on the channel anymore."
Theo Vaughn cannot have RFK on his channel anymore. Otherwise,
that's
YouTube will
insane,
shut him down.
Right?
That's absolutely insane. But the thing is, we have to stop looking at. It's crazy that YouTube is such a vehicle of speech, though. You know, I can't wait till X just takes it all over. All X needs to do is just start hosting videos and making them accessible the way YouTube does, and then YouTube goes away.
And it's done.
I would never use YouTube again. I'm so ready to ditch YouTube. So ready.
We watched the way that Blockbuster folded in on itself, right? Because of Netflix. Right. It's going to happen again. YouTube and all these freaking channels that are censoring half the country, telling them they can't talk about things, making them censor. It's going to happen overnight, right? The very moment the conservatives start putting their money somewhere else, you guys are fucking finished. So I'm here for it. I'm sick and tired of all of this crap.
You have no idea.
I think I hit a breaking point, Jesse. Another one.
Wow.
I keep hitting these ones where, you know, like, whatever. And then I hit a wall, and I get so irritated that I have to freaking put up with this crap again and again and again. And I get to the point where I'm just like, you know what? I don't even care anymore. I don't have any fucks left to give.
No, you're not wrong. I felt the same way. It actually occurred to me today, before we have to get back on topic here.
Yeah.
It occurred to me that I don't think I'm interested in trying to pander to people who are just not interested in hearing the other side. Before,
Right.
it was and I've said it a million times, so I don't know if I believe this to be true anymore. I wanted this show to be more about trying to reel people into the center, people from the far right, people from the far left. But I don't think that should be the mission anymore. Because I think we've honestly, the people on the left just need to, like myself, just need to hear the truth over and over and over and over until one of those truths stick. And so as opposed to being, this Mr. Diplomacy guy and trying to exchange, hands across the aisle, I'm kind of over it. I'm like, you know what, you can, like, it happened with my friends in Discord. We talk about them all the time. Yeah. To save our friendships, I had to literally remove myself from all the political conversations because they were unwilling to hear it. Completely unwilling to hear what was happening on the other side. And that's where we're at. And so, like, okay, for you guys, because I've known you for 20 some odd years at this point, I will not offer an opinion here, but realize that I respect you all less as a result of it. But now for this channel, I'm almost like, fuck them, man. Like, let's just really galvanize around the right. Like, it's the conservative viewpoint is what's going to heal this country. I care more about what my fellow conservatives have to say than anybody on the left, because they're just regurgitating fucking left talking points. And it's all propaganda.
And it's hateful. It is so hateful. Mm-hmm. And,
which is ironic. It's so ironic.
Oh man. I just can't with it. It's like, they're like, you shall not be a villain. And then they're like, I'm a villain. I can't with it. Right.
They literally, okay, perfect segue back to Matt Gaetz. So let's just talk briefly about the allegations they've made against this man. They've said that, again, he has engaged in sex trafficking with a 17-year-old girl. By the way, that investigation concluded years ago, finding no credible evidence, no key witnesses, nothing could propel or could push the DOJ to actually press charges because there was nothing there. The House Ethics Committee, they received allegations of sexual misconduct with another person and illicit drug use. Well, guess what? Those investigations are still underway, but they have yet to find anything incriminating.
And they won't.
They won't. And here's another one for you. The House Ethics Committee, the same group of people, have received another set of allegations saying that he was inappropriately using campaign funds for his personal expenses. These allegations have concluded, or the investigations have concluded, and found no substantial evidence linking Matt Gaetz to any illicit use of campaign funds. So that's 3 for 3, where they have found nothing. And then the last but not least, which you all probably heard of, is that there's, again, allegations that Matt Gaetz was sharing inappropriate videos of women he had sexual relationships with on the House floor. And just like the other 3 investigations, they concluded with no conclusive evidence suggesting that he did any of these things. None. 4 for 4. But that's not what the left knows. The left knows he is this sinful sexual deviant who's out there, use the word again, young women, and ruining people's lives. The only life that's being impacted here is Matt Gaetz, and he's done absolutely nothing wrong.
I hate to say it. I don't know that it's even left anymore at this point. I think it's just the establishment. Maybe that's how we need to refer to it anymore, because it's not just leftist politicians. It's Republican politicians that
it's also, it is,
have sold their souls to the establishment, man. They're banking just wild amounts of money every month from this lobbyist, corrupt conglomerate that we have as a government. And people like Matt Gaetz are going to be the ones that dismantle that. People like Pete Hegseth and hopefully Dan Bongino, if he gets put to the U.S. Secret Service division, which I hope he does. That would be spectacular. So like, I get into it about RFK being a lawyer and not a scientist, and what business does he have standing in front of the American people and deciding how their health needs to be run, right? He's just a lawyer. But he's devoted his entire life to reading this stuff, to learning how to smell, poop where poop is, to put it bluntly, I guess.
Yeah.
People at the head of a department don't have to be the best technician, the best doctor. You don't put the hospital administrator as the best surgeon. You leave the best surgeon in the surgery room, right? You put the hospital administrator as the person who can run the hospital. RFK, he's a director. He can direct, right? He knows this industry. He knows these people. He's been doing it all of his life. Okay. He's going to be just spectacular at his job. I also think Pete Hegseth is going to be a wildly successful Secretary of Defense. All of the allegations, he's getting the same treatment that Matt Gaetz got. It's just to the point where you've cried wolf too many times, and now I just don't know what to believe. I would love to believe all women, but at this point, how many times have we seen this Brett Kavanaugh, right? It happens, and people, you have a legal system to put these people in jail before they come up for government office. You can't just come out every 4 years, every time there's political appointments, and talk about some traumatic event that happened to you 30 years ago.
I mean, it's crazy how often this is happening. It is the cycle, is that all of these allegations, unproven statements, complete hearsay, come out right before a conservative, makes the bench, goes into Congress, goes into the Senate. Every freaking time. And it's always sexual misconduct, and it's always a woman crying and complaining about something that happened decades ago. And again, this is not to say that these things did not happen, but if you can't prove your case in court, then what are we supposed to believe? And especially that your timing is so, and it's always like, oh, I wasn't going to say anything because I was so embarrassed, but I can't let this man make it into office. It's literally, that is the statement that's used every single time. And it's always against these men going into conservative leading roles within government. It's either you have to believe that the GOP is purposely identifying only these people who are conducting sexual misconduct, at a criminal level, and only electing them into power, or only proposing to elect them into power, or there's something else happening. And I'm less likely to believe that they're only selecting people with this one set of of illegal accusations against them. It doesn't make any sense.
These people have a vetting process, man. Before Trump even was like, let's do Pete Hegseth as Secretary of Defense, he went through and he probably had a very candid conversation. They're going to try to destroy you, right? And Pete Hegseth probably freaking disclosed everything that's ever happened to him so that they could get on the offensive about it. And he probably also had to tell Donald Trump that he's ready for it. All of these people, they're going up for Trump nominations. If they have a skeleton in their closet,
it's
I
coming
guarantee
out.
I guarantee you they've talked to Trump about it already, and they're ready to face it.
Yep.
So I hope you guys are prepared for an entirely shameless administration. You're not going to be able to scare them off. You're not going to get them to resign or to pull their bid with this anymore.
They're going to try, though. They're going to try, to the detriment of their own networks.
Of course, they're going to get it on record. They're going to get it on record.
MSNBC is done, though. They've literally screwed themselves out of it. Now they have to sell the whole damn thing.
Yep.
CNN has to downsize. They're like, laying off 300 people, including major personalities.
All of the Anderson Cooper. The dude was making names. $50 million.
It's all over. But yet, even though the American people are they're no longer participating, they're no longer watching this propaganda shill that's coming out from these networks, they persist. They continue. Like MSNBC is still at it. They're literally going bankrupt, and they're still up there just as their last crying moments. They're like, they're going to just yell all of this nonsense, and then they're going to, off into obscurity they go.
Yeah.
They're not going to correct themselves. They're not going to try and
change
anything.
I want everybody that's watching this to recognize right now that Donald Trump won the Electoral College. He won every single battleground state. All 7 of them. Okay. Donald Trump won the popular vote. Donald Trump has more support from every single group of Americans. You name a artificial clique that has been created under the American nation. Donald Trump has won more support out of every single one of those than any other Republican in history since Abraham Lincoln, probably. Maybe I'm just making shit up, but I'm pretty positive I just read that.
Donald Trump.
Okay.
So if we're all on the same page, people are for whatever reason, people have been purposely conflating Bucks County, Pennsylvania numbers as if that is the national number, and they're saying that, oh yeah, Trump's only ahead by a few 100,000 or something like that. No. Trump has 76,604,000 votes. Kamala Harris's 73,987,000 votes. That's 2 million more votes. More. 2.5 mil more votes.
I don't even remember the last Republican that won the popular vote.
Right. So he won the popular vote by 2.5 million, 2.6 million votes. I mean, that's a lot of votes. And so you can try and diminish that any way you want, but he got it.
And it's not uneducated white males that put him into office.
Oh, that's what they want you to believe, though.
That's what they want you to believe. Okay.
Yeah. But the polls, Zach, the polls.
This is white suburban women. This is black people. This is freaking Hispanic people. This is Asian people. It's every group of Americans other than illegal aliens. I'm sorry. They probably did not vote for Trump.
Yeah, they voted.
They probably did. I'm sure we'll find it.
Oh, it's still, I mean,
in
it's
4
still happening.
years. In 4 years,
Yeah. In any case, so I think use the story of Matt Gaetz as like your as your guiding light in terms of how people in Trump's administration are going to be treated. Every last one of them. Anybody who goes up there is going to run through the gauntlet. I guarantee you they're going to lose. As a result of this, they're going to lose friends. Family members are going to distance themselves permanently, all because of the misinformation that they're hearing coming out of the propaganda machine. And Zach said it perfectly. It's not just the left. It's anybody who opposes these disestablishment people, which is exactly what they're doing. They're going after the establishment. They're returning the sanctity of the American government back to the people, and they don't like it. They have control. Government people. You know what's interesting? Charlie Cook did a little investigation, found that roughly 85% of federal workers right now are working from home, and they only have to show up to the office once a day.
Once a day or once a week?
Once a month. So even worse, once a month. So these guys only have to show up to work once a month. I guarantee you, and as does he, that not very many of these people are actually working. His numbers suggest that roughly 17% of that of this total number are actually doing any work. So that's not a good sign. And so when the Doge comes through and gets rid of about 70 to 85% of the government, it's because they're not doing anything anyway. You can't run the government on 1 day a month, right? That's what these guys are doing. It's insane. And these are the same people, by the way, who want you to believe that Matt Gaetz is a monster. Pete Hegseth is a monster. They're coming after your wives and your children. No. And Homan as well, right? He's the biggest scare of them all. He's even bigger. He's been scarier than
I haven't
RFK.
Heard a single thing about Tom Homan, other than he's probably a white nationalist or something like they're saying about Pete Hegseth.
Right, because
You
he's got that tattoo on his shoulder or on his chest.
he's got a Christian cross on his,
the Knights Templar,
and he's got a as God wills on his forearm,
Mm-hmm.
and they're saying that's white nationalism, Proud Boys bullshit. So the last thing that I kind of want to get into, right, is the part where Pete Hegseth was talking about how he wants to remove women from combat roles. And he's saying in an interview, I watched it, he's like, women don't have to leave combat roles if they can meet a very strict requirement. And me and Jesse have talked about this a lot, right? Most of the men that apply for these positions can't pass these tests either. Okay, so it's not specifically about men or women. It's about, this is the standard that the U.S. military for a combat role shall meet. And if you can't do it, regardless of your gender, you shouldn't be in that combat role. Sorry. There's other fucking positions. Be in IT. Me and Jesse did it. They need people to fix their phones or their computers. Okay?
And there's nothing wrong with it.
It's not.
It's critical to the
there's
mission.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
With serving your country in a fashion that's outside of combat.
It's called support. And support, as much as the kinetic side of any battle, support is as important.
It is.
But let's just be real here. If you can't carry, if man or woman, if you cannot carry 50 pounds on your back, gun, some mags across your shoulder, right, and then march 30 miles, it's going to be a hard march. You're going to be moving pretty quick, and then jogging part of it. If you can't do that, then you have no business being on the front line. Because you're not only are you going to get yourself killed, but if somebody has to go back and get you, you might get them killed too.
Yeah, I mean, there have been psychological studies that say leave the wounded on the field because they will draw out the unwounded where you can shoot them.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're going to go back for your buddy if you can. I mean, it's just psychology.
Human nature. Yeah.
Right? So why create more of a burden for everybody in a very awful situation already than having just the best of the best in that position?
Think about
you
this.
can leave it gender neutral. We don't give a flying fuck.
No.
But put that fucking standard high as shit, right? And make that a standard. If you're too old and your body doesn't function anymore, you got to go to a teaching position. I'm sorry.
If
you can't do
any of the things. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. There's no problem with that.
There's nothing wrong with that. So everybody needs to get off their freaking crusade. Put tiki torches down. We don't need a mob, right?
No, we don't.
Chill the fuck out.
Let's just
chill the fuck out.
Let's just be real.
He's looking for the best situation that you possibly can for frontline fighters.
We're talking about the most insane job in humanity, going to war with your fellow man. It is horrible. First of all, nobody should want to do it, but there are some people that are just cut out for it. Whatever. Okay. It's just agony. It's pure agony. The whole thing. There's nothing good about it. All you want to do is get home back to your family and your friends, right? That's the best thing that can happen. You don't want to go kill anybody. Nobody wants to go kill anybody, again, except for a small few. But it's a necessity. It's a necessity of being human. And the people that need to go do these things have a huge weight on their shoulders, both metaphorically and realistically, physically. And the idea of sending like the weakest up there makes no sense. And I'm sorry, but as Zach is saying, we need to have high standards. We called out the men versus women thing specifically because imagine a world where women only teams had to compete against men only teams in sports. How would that go down? Like even number one, Serena Williams can't beat number 700 in the men's in men's tennis. Can't do it. And she said it herself. Like she would lose. Like she would not take home a single set. And it has nothing to do with her ability. She's an amazing tennis player. But men are stronger. the ball will go faster and she won't be able to react as quick. It's nothing against Serena. It's just physics. And then the same deal. What happens when there's a professional female soccer team that played against a high school, a really good high school men's team. The women's team got smoked. It's like 7 or 8-0 or something like that. They couldn't even get a single score. It wasn't even close. And we're talking about adult women versus boys between the age of 15 and 18. And the idea then of having these women up at the front line is that is where we're drawing our comparison against. And like Zach said, we're not saying women can't do it. It's just you have to beat the standards set forth by the Department of Defense. If you can do it, sweet, off you go. Pick up your gun and head to the front line. If you can't do it, don't try and change the system, because you're only going to get yourself killed. It has nothing to do with your gender.
Other people killed.
Yeah.
And you're going to lose battles for us. And we have these very strict guidelines and these categories for a very good reason. You don't want to see a lightweight boxer go up against a heavyweight boxer. It's not a good matchup, right? So if we want heavyweights as our military to go up against other worlds' heavyweights, we don't need lightweights in the military. Sorry.